Thank you, Ferdy. Coming up next, our main event, the WBO Featherweight Championship, as we go behind the scenes into the dressing room of the champion, Prince Naseem Hamed, who is treated almost like royalty, or at least like a rock star in nearby England, and Hamed knows exactly how to milk it. And while he's not really a prince, it's just a nickname, he is the equivalent of a lord in his parents' native Yemen, where his picture is on a postage stamp. His likeness hangs on a wall at the Yemen airport right next to the president. He has played the showbiz angle to the hilt, and thus far he's been able to back it up in the ring. Yes, his flamboyant style and personality truly make him a fight promoter's dream.
I'm a complete fighter. I'm a complete package. Style is there, you know. The style is fully there. As I say before, you don't see a fighter with that much confidence doing a front flip from the top rope to get in and actually get in whatever he does, you know, and then take his opponent out in style. World title challengers, world champions, whatever. You name it, I'm going to do it, you know.
Yeah, modesty goes out the window with the Prince. It has been said boxing is show business with blood. Well, who knows? They may have had a fighter like Prince Naseem Hamed in mind. You may not always like what you're seeing him, but if you've seen him fight, you almost have to admire what he can do in the way of boxing ability. He is a presence, the flashy, taunting antics, the highly unusual style in general, very difficult to prepare for. And tonight, that task falls on the shoulders of two-time world champion Manuel Medina with the WBO featherweight title on the line. Let's revisit Hamed's last bout as he received an early scare from Daniel Alicea in the Prince's American television debut here on Showtime this past June. Up until recently, he's been able to counter his unique, risky style with outstanding reflexes, elusiveness, tremendous balance, blurring hand speed, and strength. His defensive gyrations usually bail him out of danger, but Ferdy, he really got careless against Alicea.
And Alicea took advantage of three hammering right hands, dropped him, and that Prince didn't look amazed. He came out, and let's take it, just count those three right hands. There's the one, there's the two, and here comes three. Whang, and down he goes. But look how he gets up. He springs up. He didn't even just crawl up, and then what happens in the next round is what's making this kid such a hot box office attraction. A complete wipeout. That's one knockdown. Watch the second one. And it's as good as you can get. And that's what makes this kid so good. He talks, yes, he taunts, yes, he dances, but he is the goods, and when chips are down, he performs. Up to this point, he's had a perfect career. Let's see what happens to him tonight.
So in the case of Alicea, Hamed able to regain his composure and score the impressive knockout. But that was against an unknown. Tonight, Hamed steps up in quality of opposition, and although Medina is certainly Hamed's toughest challenge so far, is he in the class of Tom Johnson, Azuma Nelson, or Marco Antonio Barrera? Will tonight's fight get Hamed ready for the division's elite fighters? Freddie, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think he's got the goods that he needs. He's got eyes. He's got that peripheral vision that Ali had. That's what makes him a good defensive fighter. He's got reflexes. He's got legs to get him out. He's got confidence. Yeah, I think he belongs in that class, but belonging in it and staying in it is two different things. When you look at those names you just read, that's tough competition. He can go through that, then he can start thinking about ring greatness. Up to now, he's just a good contender, good guy on the way up. By contender, I mean contender for greatness. He's just on the way up. He's got to beat those guys, and that's what this ride is all about. And I, for one, I'm looking forward to having that ride.
Yeah, some feel he's actually overrated. We'll wait and see. That comes in due time. In contrast to the Johnson-Guzman bout, Medina does have championship experience. Hamed is not accustomed to fighting world champions. So, is this a matchup of a fading star versus a rising star, or are they evenly matched? Bobby, let's get your feelings on that.
You know, Medina has competed at the championship level, Steve, for so long, and the last couple times he hasn't fared so well. So some might say he's on a decline. However, he's been in the tough fights, and he knows how to win in long, hard, competitive fights against opposition that Naseem has never seen. So in the late rounds, this could be a crucial factor. Naseem has never faced this type of fighter or this type of opposition. So I'll tell you what, this could be one. If that fight's close, coming down the stretch, Medina knows how to win in a late fight, in a tough fight, and Naseem has never been there.
Well, he hasn't been in there with too many world champions, people with world championship caliber experience, and of course Medina is one of them. The amazing thing is he is a two-time world champion, Bobby, and he's done it up to the age of 25. You know that he turned pro when he was 14 years of age.
You know, years ago, Pepino Cuevas did something similar to that, but what happened was he had to retire at an early age because of the abuse at such a young age. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad. Even Sean O'Grady, 16 years old, he turned pro. You know, sometimes that takes a toll on a fighter. which might be one of the reasons, again, that they're talking about him possibly being on the decline.
You know, you touched on it before after the Tom Johnson-Ramon Guzman fight, but what would be the best attitude to bring into the ring against a guy like Prince Naseem Hamed? It was interesting. Medina, in our meeting with him yesterday, said, I've been sparring with Jorge Paez over the last 5 years, so it sort of sets me up to the circus-like atmosphere.
And we also know how crazy Paez is. Similar antics, similar crazy movements and defensive skills. But I think he's just got to clear his mind and look to what he has to do. Forget all the antics.
Well, let's take a little sneak look into the strutting champion, the dancing champion. You don't know if he's getting ready for a fight or getting ready to go out dancing. Prince Naseem Hamed.
Can't tell whether we're in a nightclub or a dressing room. What is it?
A little disco action from Prince Naseem Hamed in his dressing room, getting ready for our main event here at the Point Theatre in Dublin, Ireland. Big crowd on hand. Seating capacity here is, about 8,000. It is warm. The crowd, as you can hear in the background, is getting revved up as ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. is ready to bring on the two combatants. This is being looked at as a turning point fight in the career of Prince Naseem Hamed. It could tell if he's really got the goods. KO percentage of 90% to Medina's 39%, but Medina has had the stronger opposition of the two. And let's get a look at the challenger, Manuel Medina, complete with hat. A seasoned veteran at 25, who turned pro, as we mentioned, at 14. Medina out of Tijuana, Mexico. Two-time world champion. He's won over 50 fights. His record in world title bouts is 6 up and 4 down. Medina has fought just once this year, winning a 10-round decision over Benito Rodriguez in April. He's the former IBF and WBC featherweight champ who successfully defended his crown 5 times in his career. Won the IBF title with a decision over Troy Dorsey in '91. Held it for over a year before losing on decision to Tom Johnson in '93, and the crowd getting behind the challenger, Manuel Medina. Either that or it's just the anticipation of the popular Prince Naseem Hamed. Medina won the WBC version by outpointing Alejandro Gonzalez in '95, but in his first defense turned it over to Luis Espinosa by decision. He's rated number 3 by the WBC, number 10 by the WBO. Tonight is his 11th world title fight. And he seemed pretty calm and cool yesterday morning when we sat down and had a little chat with him, despite the fact that he's going up against one of the most beloved sportsmen in this area, Prince Naseem Hamed. And we're ready for the Prince to make his grand entrance.
Defending one-of-a-kind WBO featherweight champion of the world, Prince Naseem.
Get ready for a circus-like environment. His entrance with his traditional front flip over the ropes into the ring. Well, watch him milk this entrance. Flexing the muscles, singing along to the song. Here it comes. Slowly but surely. And the crowd erupting as they can now see Hamed. He's a stop and starter in terms of making entrances. Have a lot of patience, folks. His TV ratings in England rival those of British international football matches. His advertising deals with major companies estimated at $6 million. There's even a 270-page hardcover book just released on this man, all of 22 years old. The foot weighs more than Hamed. Entertaining to some, the grand entrance of Hamed makes others, particularly boxing traditionalists, wince. There are many terrific boxers who don't get publicity because they don't stage lavish Las Vegas reviews before they fight. Let's see how they stack up on paper as we look at the tail of the tape. Hamed, as mentioned, only 22. When Medina turned pro in 85, Hamed was 11. 3-inch height advantage for Medina, the weight nearly even. 3.5-inch reach advantage for Medina. And the WBO rules for this championship fight. The scoring under the 10-point must system. 3 judges will score. There's no standing 8 count. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect. Only the referee can stop the fight. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell except in the final round. If an accidental foul occurs before the end of the 3rd round, it's ruled a technical draw. If it occurs after the completion of the 3rd round, they go to the scorecard. So we're standing by here at the Point Theatre in Dublin, Ireland. Closing in on our main event, our featured attraction, Prince Naseem Hamed versus Manuel Medina for the World Boxing Organization featherweight crown. The crowd growing with anticipation. You see the laser lights shining all over as 2-time world champion Manuel Medina awaits the moment of truth. Prince Naseem Hamed continues to play to the crowd. We're set for the official introduction. So here in Dublin, let's send it up to our ring announcer, the classic Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen in attendance, boxing fans joining us across the UK on Sky Sports, and sports fans joining us around the world, we welcome you to the Point in beautiful Dublin, Ireland, for the featured attraction of the evening, brought to you by Frank Warren's Sports Network and Don King Productions, as sponsored by Adidas and NBC. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the World Boxing Organization, President Francisco Valcarcel, Supervisor at ringside Nick Karasiotis, along with the Boxing Union of Ireland Chairman Nick Moore, President Mel Crystal. Our physicians at ringside, Jack Phillips and David O'Flaherty. Timekeeper at the bell, also keeping count of the knockdowns, Dale Elliott. Introducing to you our judges scoring this bout from ringside, Stan Gallup, Mike Gliena, and Frank Skilbred. Introducing to you our referee in charge, we have Gino Rodriguez. All right, fans, here we go with our main event of the evening. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, it's showtime! With the WBO Featherweight Championship of the World scheduled 12 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing gold trunks with red trim, hailing from Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico. He weighed in at a ready 8 stone, 13 3/4 pounds, or 125 3/4 U.S. pounds. His record stands at 52 wins, 7 losses, 23 wins coming by way of knockout. And dedicating his efforts to his Irish fans, tonight's challenger is attempting to earn his 3rd world title. Please welcome the 2-time featherweight champion of the world, introducing Manuel Mantegas Medina. His opponent across the ring, presenting the defending champion on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing gold trunks, black trim, hailing from his hometown of Sheffield, England, and proudly representing his heritage of Yemen. He weighed in at 9 stone even with a featherweight limit of 126 U.S. pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with 22 wins, no losses, 20 big wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making the third defense of his crown, here is one of boxing sensations, the colorful WBO featherweight champion of the world, introducing the one and only Prince Naseem Hamed. Once again, a referee in charge, Gino Rodriguez.
Okay, Naseem, I give you instructions. Manuel, te doy instrucciones. Protect yourself at all times, Naseem. Manuel, protege todo el tiempo. Obey my commands at all times. Manuel, obedece mis instrucciones todo el tiempo. Buena suerte, good luck.
You saw the stare down. You saw Medina having a little fun with Hamed. Hamed said, yeah, okay, we'll see who's going to have fun in just a few seconds. In sharp contrast to the quick work done to the ring by Hamed, who has dispatched half of his opponents by the end of the second round and averages 3.5 rounds per bout. Medina plans to settle in for the long haul. 7 of his last 8 fights have gone the distance. A second round knockout predicted by Prince Naseem Hamed.
The difference in size is somewhat. Medina being very tall, much taller than the small Prince.
You know, Medina thinks he's actually quicker, even though Hamed's got some great speed. Certainly, though, he's probably not the better puncher. And I wonder how he's going to handle the southpaw stance, and an awkward southpaw stance at best.
The little Hamed sports tremendous power, and a lot of that comes from his legs. He breaks all the canons of boxing, leans back, as you can see, juts his chin out, stands square on, has his arms down for the most part. But he counters his unique, some might call faulty style with outstanding reflexes. Great balance, lightning, speed, and strength.
And you see what, if you watch, he switches back, southpaw, orthodox. The Prince always leaps in with his weight, and that's where he generates a lot of his power. But one of these days, he's going to leap into a right hand, and it's not going to help him.
Now, this is the first time I've ever seen 2 guys with fringes. They look like 2 table lamps fighting there. I've never seen 2 guys with fringes.
A right hand lead there by Medina, but the quickness defensively of Hamed able to elude, and then as he's moving back, gets off a right hand. A wild overhand right by Hamed.
Hamed a little too wild right now. He's got to settle down. This first round is too wild. He can get caught, as Bobby said, coming in, and that will flatten.
And something else I think Medina spoke about, which is very bright. He says he's going to try to go to the body of the Prince and try and slow him down so he can not jump around doing all that movement, which will give him a better chance to hit him. And there you see Medina lands a nice combination of right, then a left and right. And again, the Prince leaps in, and it goes flying over Medina's head.
Another wild left hand by Hamed. The crowd getting behind Medina.
Prince too far out of control. He's just like fighting on rocket fuel here. Calm down a little bit and get this thing in order.
Medina told us he feels his experience will be a big factor. Another wild swing and a miss by Hamed. Medina is making Hamed miss. He also feels, Medina does, that he's faster than Hamed, and that Hamed's punching power is overrated. Look out! Medina nearly walked right into one.
Well, he almost sat him down with that one. His legs buckled.
He caught him dead flush in the face, right between the nose and the eye. But Medina, to his credit, he's been here before. He moves, he got out of the way. No second punch.
You'll recall he got knocked down early against Daniel Alisea, did Hamed in his last fight, but he came back in ferocious fashion to end it in the next round. Here comes Hamed now, beginning to gain more confidence.
He certainly looks like an inviting target with both those hands down.
The bell for round 1.
Ya lo sentiste ahorita. El trabajo planeado nos va a dar resultado. Cálale y pégale. Y siempre fíjale y manéjale el golpeado al cuerpo. Me drink.
Yeah, all right. Off your job. Just a few more dummies. Just a little bit too eager. Have you got me? Good time. Let me know the
Let's take a good look at this effective punch by... Now look, see how his legs buckle. Medina's legs buckle. A good punch after that would have sent him bobbing. Take a look at it overhead.
Well, we look overhead, you see, once again, Naseem jumps in. He's standing there, and he just dives right in, and that punch lands squarely on the nose. It'd be really dangerous if you don't catch him before he catches you.
The Prince very eager to get at Medina as we begin round number 2. The Prince sure is flashy, but not very effective so far. In fact, his wildness could cost him, but he did land that one shot flush on the face of Manuel Medina, and that certainly got his attention.
He just walked into a right hand of his own, did the Prince, and Medina's doing a smart thing. When he leaps, the Prince that is, he just stuffs the jab out. That offsets the whole leap.
It looks like Medina has done his homework here against Prince Naseem Hamed, at least at the outset.
Well, if he's worked with Paez, he's used to all that craziness. But Paez is even crazier than the Prince. The Prince talking to him, saying, come on, come on. He'd have to talk to him in Spanish, though.
Medina said he's been training hard for 7 weeks for this fight. Another wild miss there by Hamed, and he leaves himself wide open. But his defensive gyrations have been getting him out of trouble throughout his entire career.
He said keep him up, but the guy didn't hit anything but the ring ropes.
I was going to say, he didn't hit anything but
He didn't hit the third rope. I guess that's keeping him low.
Some feel that it wasn't smart for Hamed's people to take this fight with the experienced and seasoned and skilled Manuel Medina, that it could backfire on him. We shall see.
Well, this kid must have a very heavy punch, because he certainly registers when he hits hard. He does, the Prince.
That leaping into adds to his power, but again, if he gets caught by a good puncher like an Azuma Nelson while he's leaping in, he's going to have problems.
Well, Hamed 22-0 with 20 knockouts. Hamed with a couple of straight lefts, misses with the right.
Well, when he misses, he really misses.
There you saw, too, though, the jab of Medina keep the onslaught off. He sticks that jab out. There's nowhere else Hamed could go except back away from the jab or walk right into it.
You can really see right here at the beginning the experience factor paying off for Medina, something we have not seen against Hamed. Hamed with a lunging straight left hand, but not doing much damage. That right, though, got him. The elusiveness once again, the duck under move by Hamed. Then he launches the straight right.
And Medina's face is getting red. I mean, his forehead and his eyes are getting red.
There's a little trickle of blood along the right side of Medina's face.
Boy, this guy comes from all angles.
Pulling him down. And it's going to be scored as a knockdown.
There was a good look in there, too.
He is very wobbly. Medina is dazed. Let's see if Hamed will go in and try to finish him off here with 10 seconds to go in the second. He's trying. Missing wildly with the right. 5 seconds. Nails him with the right hand, but he doesn't go down. He survives.
¿Cómo te sientes? Dame la calle. ¿Te sientes bien? ¿Te recuperaste? Digo, tenemos que evitar todos esos macanazos y lo trabajamos para evitarlo, pero no lo estamos evitando. ¿Eh? Dámelo como protector, dámelo. Digo, tienes que agarrar confianza. Para que no le fallar y le pegues, ¿entendiste?
They're telling him he's got to step up the action. He's telling him his nose hurts. Let's take a look at that action, because that was almost a charge with a punch and a charge, like a football charge. I mean, I don't know what that was, but he got up in such bad shape.
There's another look at it, but
Bobby, take a look at
talk about part of a leaping thing. He leaps in with this shot, and you watch it catch him on the eye and the nose, but it's not a great shot, but just dives in with it. Comes right into Medina, and he leaps like that, and then pushes him. It's a clean knockdown to a degree, but it's a leaping shot. All Medina really has to do is bury his head in his hands and put his head down.
I think he buried.
And the Prince will butt himself.
I think he buried his head because his nose got popped right then. Because he complained about it when he went back, and it was bleeding. So he either got butted with the nose or that punch busted his nose.
Round 3 for the WBO Featherweight Championship. Medina down in round 2 with 23 seconds remaining after a bull rush and a left hook by the Prince. The decibel level very high here in Dublin. Wild exchange. Hamed getting the better.
He fights like a swarm of bees. They come from all angles and all places. No rhyme or reason to fighting this guy.
And he is deceptively strong. Tremendous power for a man his size. Hamed. He can switch to southpaw. And the crowd singing and chanting. Urging Hamed on. Things settling down just for a moment.
It's a nice 1-2 right there by Medina, but he needs to do it again. He needs to back it up and come back a second time. He's starting to find a range with the right hand, is Medina. And I'll tell you what, this style that the Prince has uses a lot of energy.
Yeah, he's got to get a win here early, or else he's got those long rounds, boy. I don't know what he'd do in those later rounds.
The last time Medina was stopped was in 1989. That's 7 years ago by Juan Salazar. He was stopped only one other time in his fourth fight.
This corner's saying, take your right hand, get it up, get it up. It's too low. They want him to hold that right hand up, and of course, it's a good idea, because this rocket flying around here can land anywhere.
Here's a lunging straight right hand by Medina.
Nice right hand by Medina, and he followed it up with a half a right uppercut, because once again, the Prince unorthodox buried his head almost near the ground.
And Hamed says, come on. He invites him in.
That's crazy the way he runs in. It's crazy.
Right, I'm telling you, I would just duck my head inside my cheeks and put my head down, and he would run into the top of my head and break his own nose.
Hamed came in by saying, I know I have more power, so Medina will stay away. But Medina, right there.
Well, he got one good punch in, I'll say that for him.
15 seconds remaining in the third round.
Medina must be getting tired of hitting air.
Right uppercut followed up by a straight left by Hamed. Gets the crowd going. Well, we bring in IBF featherweight champion Tom Boom Boom Johnson, who just got through with his decision victory over Ramon Guzman. And Tom, first of all, congratulations. How is the hand?
Thank you. Well, the hand is a little sore. I don't think it's broke or anything like that. I think we, you know, it's a little bruise and everything. It's just I hit him on top of the head, and when the first knockdown came, I hit him on top of the head, and after that, just offsetted everything else. But I stayed focused. The main objective wasn't to try to knock this guy out, but to maintain my championship status.
Of course, if anybody knows Manuel Medina well, it's you. You fought him 3 times, beat him 2 times. You told us yesterday that if the Medina showed up against Tom Boom Boom Johnson, Hamed could be in trouble.
Yeah, definitely. I think what's happening with Medina, he has to make the necessary adjustment with this kid. He's a little awkward, and I think Medina is trying too hard to try to hit him in the head. You know, you just break him down at the body and let the guy leap in and counterpunch him. I think what the mistake that Medina's making is he's trying to take the lead with this guy. You sit back and you counterpunch this guy. You let him throw them leaping shots, and you catch him coming in.
Action back in the ring. Thank you, Tom. Round number 4. Prince Naseem Hamed, the WBO featherweight champion. The average is 3.5 rounds. He's put off balance by Medina, again getting the crowd behind the Mexican.
You know, Medina came here to fight tonight, and the Prince is going to have a long, hard day if Medina can keep him getting hit clean.
I'll tell you something, the referee came over and talked to him seriously in the corner. What could he be talking about? I don't know, because there hadn't been any low blows, except that he looked like he was rocky when he got hurt that one time. But I think it's a little premature to be talking to somebody in the corner in this fight.
Medina's corner was able to stop the flow of blood from the cut by the right eye of Medina while we were talking to Boom Boom Johnson.
You know, Medina's not a big puncher, as is the Prince. If his right hand was as good as the Prince's, the Prince keeps eating him now. I wonder how the effects would be as the fight gets later and later.
This is round number 4, scheduled for 12. The main event here at the Point Theater in Dublin. Uppercut there, ripping uppercut by Hamed, but it was a grazing blow, fortunately, for Medina. Pawing right there by Hamed, having no impact. Now switching to southpaw is Hamed.
We used to have a saying in the gym, it's almost impossible to predict what a junk fighter will do. And by junk, we mean if the punches come from such unorthodox angles, you can't devise counters for them, and you got to play it by ear. And sometimes that's what you have to do with the Prince.
Effective in his awkwardness is, I think, the way you like to put it.
That's exactly correct.
Medina doing much better this round than he did the first two. He's carrying the action. He's landed several good shots, and however you look at it, he's settled down.
Oh, he got tagged! After the miss by Hamed, he got nailed, but now he's clowning around as if to say, no damage. But you never know. Oh, there's a straight right hand by Medina. Follows up with another right.
I'll tell you what, Medina came to fight, and Prince now is going to try and get involved in one of those macho games.
The experienced Manuel Medina beginning to show signs here of offense against Hamed. Looking sharp. Landing with lefts and rights to the head of Hamed.
Having a good round is Medina. Good round for Medina.
25 seconds to go.
Medina's making him miss and making him pay, and that's the only way to beat this man.
He's settling down. He's figuring him out a little bit.
Well, Hamed may have good defense and be very elusive, but Medina has a few tricks of his own. Look out from behind. Oh, is that dangerous for Hamed. And Hamed gets nailed with a combination. A left-right combination by the challenger, Medina. Another shot by Medina at the bell. What a round for Medina.
All right. Now you're just trying too hard with him. Fetch him into you. Kid, bring him into you. Pop, let him come on to you. Don't just relax, bring him on to you. Then when he comes on the rope, slip him.
All right, let's take a look at Medina's charge. He's starting to solve this kid's problem. Look at this. He missed close on both, but he sure gave him a nice little chokehold for it. I mean, that doesn't feel good, does it?
Yeah, here you'll see Medina again. What he's trying to do is make the Prince miss, leave with a right hand and a hook, and when the Prince goes down, rip the right hand up, and he's connecting time and time again.
Round number 5. The Prince as cocky as ever. But he was caught several times by Manuel Medina while showboating.
Well, he's got that one round where he dropped him, and that's given him a 10-8 round. So, but this is getting to be a close thing because Medina has certainly got no fear of this guy, and he's orchestrating his own kind of fight here.
And it's not Hamed's style to stop being flashy, as you can well see here.
See what Hamed does is just jump around like that, Steve, and then dive in. So far, Medina's been able to stop him from doing it too effectively, and that's giving Naseem some trouble.
Well, as we mentioned, between Boom Boom Johnson and Prince Naseem Hamed's fights, a lot of people, many of the experts here in Ireland and in England, feel that Hamed, and they've seen him a lot more than we have, is overrated because of his ring record. He really hasn't fought that many good fighters. Medina is the first real experienced guy he's faced. Yes, he's fought Steve Robinson. He won the title from Stevie Robinson. But Medina is in another class. Round 5 ensues. Medina coming off his best round of the fight. He's got Hamed. He's got Hamed's attention, that's for sure.
He's got Hamed moving more and more, not jumping in as much, and not landing as much as he had been in the first 3 rounds. The last round, I gave to Medina. He put in a strong performance.
For the first time, I'm seeing more caution from the normally flamboyant Prince Naseem Hamed. Very much more settled down here.
Well, it takes a lot out of him to bounce around like that. Oh, that's a dumb fight.
Leaving himself wide open for a return.
Boy, if you could hit that, then the other guy was paralyzed. That guy, from the street, you can see that coming.
Hamed trying almost anything. You see him switching to southpaw from time to time. He's getting frustrated, I do believe.
And not only that, but he's missing more and more of his punches. Every time you miss a punch, you have to stop the punch, as opposed to a body stopping it. Takes a lot of energy.
He's not jumping up and down, I'll tell you that.
Medina claiming he was hit behind the head there just for the moment. Shakes it off. Comes right back at Hamed. Little stutter step move by Medina. Good left by Hamed that landed. to the head. Ahmed throws that right hand, Bobby, and he leaves himself wide open for a counter.
Defense is not on his mind. It's an automatic, instinctive reaction of some sort because he throws like a crazy person and just bounces and leaps out of the way of whatever's coming. He has excellent reflexes, but I'll tell you what, this style doesn't beat Azuma Nelson ever.
And I'm sure the man sitting to our left, Tom Boom Boom Johnson, is looking very closely at the situation as well. There's the belt.
Tiene que tirar más golpes para poder ir ganando los rounds, ir acumulando puntos. Entonces hay que jalarlo, sorprenderlo cuando él falla. Inmediatamente tú tienes que reaccionar. Luego de repente
he says you've got to catch him and surprise him as soon as he jumps at you, fire away. Don't wait for that punch to go by. Fire as soon as he jumps in and you'll catch him. And he has several times that way.
It's showing you a lot. Strong.
That's the first time I've seen a boxer drinking from a glass. I'm surprised he hadn't got a champagne glass.
Nas, don't dance, just pick your feet, pick your feet. Let him come on to you.
Round 6. Prince said he wanted to get Medina out by round 2. He almost did it, but he's had his difficulty the last couple of rounds.
Well, his corner told him, don't dance now. Get down on your feet and start punching, meaning enough clowning. Let's get to work here. This good. Get away from it.
The last time Prince went this far was back in September of 1995, an 8th-round TKO over Steve Robinson to win the WBO featherweight title. His last 2 fights, 1 round. In fact, he ended it against a fighter named Saad Lawal on 1 punch. And then the 2nd-round TKO over Alisei. Now Medina doing a little showboating.
Medina giving him a little of his own medicine. Medina doing something pretty smart right here too. He's leading with a long right hand to the body, and the Prince is not expecting it. Those body shots will take their toll and add up.
The Prince is not entertained. Oh, a straight right hand by Medina, flush on the face of Hamed.
Medina's getting that right hand in. I don't know if he's got that much power in it, but he's sure getting it in.
A slapping right hand by a wide open
See it almost
Hamed.
as if it's an instant replay. Prince comes in, swings, misses, turns to the side, and Medina bangs him with the hook or the right hand. And again, you see that right to the body. Constantly working that body.
Now a combination, an on-rushing combination by Hamed, but doing no damage as Medina continues to storm forward.
Prince better put some gas in his tank here because this is going to be a long fight if he keeps this up.
Medina with the straight right hand. He loves to keep the pressure on. Fast-paced attack, and he's showing all kinds of confidence now.
And if you notice in the corner with Medina, his trainer said when he leaps and jumps in, you got to step right in and fire because that's how it gets him coming in. But easier said than done, that's for sure.
Medina from Tijuana. Most Tijuana fighters are in-your-face type fighters. Very crafty, knows how to slip and counter. He can take a punch. He's got plenty of heart. He's got a good overhand right, but not known as a power puncher or knockout artist is Medina. 23 knockouts in 59 fights. He's won 52, lost 7. Medina now going downstairs to the body and landing.
You watch when the Prince jumps in, they banged heads. They banged
Referee
heads.
Tino Rodriguez will give Medina some time
They
and to
banged
go to the
heads.
doctor.
I'll tell you what, they
Headbutt.
The headbutt is what he's saying.
Headbutt.
The doctor now checking out Medina.
Headbutt.
A headbutt.
Well, I don't see anything.
Pardon me?
I saw the headbutt and I saw both of them acknowledge it, but I'll tell you,
And
it's going to change the pace of this fight right now.
Hamed jumps right in and looks to inflict some damage on Medina, picking up the pace in the process.
Prince is a slick little fighter in the way he grabs his hands and grabs the arms of the other fighter. He is all over you.
Tries to smother you, just missed with that left as the bell sound.
No tiene nada.
No tiene nada, No hay nada en esa cortadita.
Cierra el ojo, no te muevas. Es una cortadita chiquitita.
No te abre la boca. Abre la boca nomás. Tómale un traguito de agua. Tómatelo.
Es así, chiquita.
Tranquilito.
Está acá arriba, es una cortada chiquita.
Por la cabeza.
Pero y luego él se agacha mucho y se voltea de espalda.
Yo sé la cabeza, pero está allá. Está agachado, está volteando de espalda, está cabeceando abajo. Ese es el problema de él, que se aventaja, que no tome ventaja a él. No, pero está cabeceando de eso.
They got Chuck Bodak in the corner. They're looking at it. They don't see anything in particular, and I don't know what they're talking about because there's nothing to be seen there.
Así como ahorita lo estabas haciendo mejor. Tira golpes.
You see under his right eye, Freddie, there's a little gash.
Hay que buscarlo, hijo.
Right on the eyelid.
He's got on the eyelid a little cut. I don't think there's much to worry about this so far.
All right, round 7. Now Medina going to southpaw, switching around. Now he's back to conventional.
Go back of the head. Let's go.
Backhanding by Prince Naseem Hamed, being cautioned by the referee, Gino Rodriguez of Chicago.
The Prince has done that several times. The first time, oh, nice right hand.
Oh, a straight right by Medina that sent Hamed reeling back for the moment.
And Medina tried to stay to the body with the jab. You see him stuffing underneath, trying to dig to the body, catching the Prince on the way in, but Medina just doesn't hit hard enough. It doesn't appear to hurt.
Straight right. Good right hand by Hamed.
It's Hamed that's doing the damage here.
Thumping shots now all of a sudden by Hamed, who's beginning to land with more regularity. Nice left jab by Medina. Looking to set up the right.
Slowly but surely, Medina's face is starting to fall apart. He's getting all lumped up in red, and he's got cuts. So let's see. Cut over his eye. Up. Slight. Box.
Sometimes when Medina gets frustrated, he resorts to other tactics, like backhanding and headbutting, but it's been Hamed being cautioned.
Well, that was a magnificent opportunity lost.
Right uppercut by Hamed, followed up by a combination.
And I'll tell you what, whether he realized or not, he staggered Medina and he just walked into a left hand. But he did stagger Medina.
Medina may be in some trouble here all of a sudden, but Medina comes back with a sharp right hand to Hamed. Another right hand by Medina. Wild miss by Medina. Medina a little wobbly, but still throwing.
Well, let me tell you, the Prince.
Straight right by Medina.
I was talking about earlier, that's straight right. That's the punch.
There's a backhand by Hamed. Not detected by the referee. That was dirty.
The Prince was on Queer Street there for a little tiny while, let me tell you. There were a few seconds there when the Prince was wavering in the breeze.
And Hamed being cautioned for pulling Medina down. Medina resorting to tactics in the past, but here tonight it's Hamed finding himself a little bit in trouble and going to the backhand and to the wrestling tactics.
Medina keeps stuffing that jab to the body, coming up with the right hand, but that straight right hand down the pipe has been his bread and butter.
20 seconds remaining in round 7.
See that jab to the body, and he comes up.
Combination by Hamed to the head of Medina, and now he bulldozes right into Medina again.
Hamed's a much bigger puncher, and he's getting home with a big shot.
Left by Hamed, followed up by a right hand, and look at Medina's face. It is really starting to
Medina taking a whipping.
Normal, porque te ha pegado muchos codazos de aventones. No te muevas, cierra el ojo y no te muevas. Póngale más corazón. Quieres ser campeón, hay que echarle ganas. Tienes que jalarlo y golpearlo. Tú primero, él ya está parado. Él se va a parar a cambiar golpes contigo.
They're working on his knee. They tell him, don't worry about. Working on his nose. They tell him, don't worry about the eye, but tighten up the defense.
Mantén el ojo cerrado.
The round to go will show you the headbutt. You can see the Prince as he always does. He comes running around, jumping in. And right here you'll see him. He's right there. They bang. Right there they bang. Came in with an uppercut, missed the uppercut, and stepped forward and slammed his head right into the right eye.
Y golpearlo, pero
Manuel
tú primero
Medina.
para todo. Primero tú, ya, juégalo.
Wearing a microphone in Medina's corner, Nacho Cuizar. And here we go, round number 8. Medina looking the worse for wear.
And not a mark on the Prince. I have the Prince ahead of this fight, but it's definitely Medina still in the ball game.
Blood streaking from the left nostril of Manuel Medina. A gutsy Manuel Medina out of Tijuana, Mexico. Two-time world champion, challenging for the WBO title against Prince Naseem Hamed, the crowd favorite. To some extent, Medina throwing rises from the crowd as well. Right uppercut there by Hamed.
That jab by Medina is keeping the Prince at bay right now. What he needs to have is a little more firepower behind that jab. It's just not enough by itself.
Oh, look at the face of Medina.
And Hamed once again goes back to the showboating, and he gets tagged with a right hand by Medina, and Hamed just smiles back at him.
See, Medina's not a big puncher, so Hamed can play this game. He does that with Zuma Nelson, he's going to have real problems.
Medina backing up, backpedaling, trying to hold his own here from an onrushing bull, Prince Naseem Hamed.
But he's fighting back. It's a fighting retreat. That's not just a retreat.
Hamed continues to dance around side to side, coming forward.
You see a little swelling now under the right eye of the Prince. Some of those punches are getting in.
Again, Medina looking to go to the body. Now he lands with a straight right to the head and barrels in with combinations to the body. Hamed walked right into one and nearly lost his mouthpiece.
Again, that straight right hand has been the bread and butter for Medina, but he doesn't have the power he needs to really hold off the lunges and the riotous type attack that the Prince is throwing at him.
Well, I tell you, they're giving their fans their money's worth because they've been going at it now for round after round after round. Nothing quits in Medina. He keeps coming.
Medina, 23 knockouts and 52 wins. Not a big knockout puncher.
And he keeps throwing that right hand to the body. He's working the body, he's not forgetting the body. And there again, the right hand down the middle.
Medina Hamed just dancing away. Hamed trying to load up and land and finish this thing off. Here in the deep 8th round. As mentioned, it's been some time since Hamed has been this deep into a fight.
Oh! Hamed walked into a beautiful right hand. He's getting a little tired and sloppy. And again, Medina not a big puncher, but he's closing this round beautifully.
Hamed just smiles back and dances. Now here's Gino Rodriguez, the referee, telling Medina to go to a neutral corner.
Let's go, hurry up.
Knocked his mouthpiece out.
Knocked his mouthpiece out, so they wash it out.
But he isn't falling because of punches. He's slipping around on their feet. They're stepping on each other's feet.
And there's the bell.
Now listen to me now. This is fight time. He's had his fun with you, and you stood there and let him do it. You let him come on. He's going to come after you. You've had him on the floor twice. You've bust him up. You must concentrate and let him go. Let him come to you. No, sit down. All right, yeah. Okay.
Here you see Prince getting caught with one of the nicer right hands. And I'll tell you, Medina's been throwing it all day. There it is. Bang, mouthpiece comes out. That was a clean right hand. That not only got his attention, that stunned him briefly.
And he's winning the rounds like this. That's a round I gave him. But I don't believe that that staggering around was anything more than they're falling over each other's feet.
Well, the Prince might be able to slough it off, but he was definitely stung by that right cross thrown by Manuel Medina that dismantled the mouthpiece.
There's going to be a sort of a momentum play here. The Prince is going to try and get some respect back. He lost his mouthpiece, got popped with right hand. Mini stagger, lost the round. He's going to try and get this round back, I think.
Round 9. This is the longest that Naseem has been since May 11th of 1994 when he won a unanimous decision over Vincenzo Belcastro.
I'm telling you, I think the body shots Medina is throwing has been doing the job. Been keeping Naseem at bay and making him a little more weak.
Look out, there's Medina down for the second time of the fight. Rodriguez ushering Hamed to the neutral corner. Almost 2 minutes to go in round 9. He's got a long way to go for this round. We continue.
That was a flash knockdown. Medina looked right at his corner. That ref hooked over, bet you get his attention. And Naseem, he's gonna come in and do his usual.
And a major sense of urgency now for Medina.
Medina looked at his corner. He was okay.
Medina, though, looking hurt, despite the fact that it was a flash knockdown. Oh, they almost both went down. Medina, it is not a knockdown.
That was a wrestle throw to the ground.
Medina is a little rocky, but he hasn't got the strength that he had before. The Prince has feels his second energy and second win, and he's coming on.
I'll tell you what, there was a good right hand left hook there by Medina, and the Prince doesn't think he's that hurt or he'd be swarming him.
But Hamed,
he's still jumping around from the outside.
He's in control here, but he's so careless. He put Medina down with 2:17 left in round 9. Now a stranglehold by Medina got him around the neck. And low blows by Hamed in the process, and then wheel it away. Straight right hand, down goes Medina again. With a minute to go in round 9.
5, 6, 7, 8.
He gets up on Ocho, 8.
His corner wants to stop it. His corner man came up to stop it, and the referee didn't see him.
3 knockdown rule in effect. 42 seconds to go. He's been down twice this round, Medina. Hamed looking to end it here.
I'll bet his corner man don't let him come out.
I'll tell you what, Corey, that might be the case, but right now Medina's showing that he's still got enough to finish at least this round. And if he can finish this round, Hamed used a lot. Hamed used a lot of energy.
Medina coming back with some offense. If he goes down one more time this round, it's automatically over. He's got to stay up. Oh, what a shot by Hamed, but Medina stays in front of him. Hamed focused, punching in with a right uppercut. Combination just above up. Turns him around, lays a left hook. But Medina stays on his feet.
I'll tell you what, Hamed is trying like the Dickens to knock him out.
If they don't stop it in the corner, it'll be a miracle.
Puedes noquear si quieres pelear.
They're asking him, do you want to fight?
Échale ganas. Vamos a rifárnosla. Él está parado, pero tienes que pelear con él. ¿Ok? Vamos a rifárnosla.
Nacho Weezer says, if you want to fight, I'm going to give you one more round, but you got to fight with him. All right, let's go look at the first knockdown. That was a perfect right hand. Down he went right on his lampshade. And Bobby, take a look at the second one.
Well, you know, he got hit with the same right hand down the middle. Again, Naseem's just too strong for him. He takes that right hand and he just can't do anything with it. Bang. Wasn't that strong a right hand, but Medina's getting worn down. The punishment is adding up. He doesn't have much left, but Naseem's exhausted too.
And Naseem Weezer said in the corner, fight with him this round. He's a lot braver than most managers.
Round number 10. A very courageous Manuel Medina hanging tough. He's been on the canvas 3 times in this fight, 2 times in the last round.
But he has sustained a fearful beating, the evidence of which is on his face.
It has been a punishing night for Medina. Hamed showing a trickle more patience. Hamed just got nailed with a right hand by Medina. It backed him up.
Once again, Medina's not a big enough puncher to get the job done. He's seriously hurt. Naseem with just one right hand. This has to be combination.
Hamed landing with a right hook over the top.
Break it up.
The Prince looking for that right-hand goal that he found. He got right hand crazy. Went for right-hand leads there without any jab before it. And left hands.
Hamed, by being showy, could be hurting his chances of fulfilling his desire to be known as one of the greatest of all time. He says he's destined to be a legend much too early in his career, and he needs a to learn to control his wild. Short crisp left hook by Medina.
Now Medina's showing a lot of guts and determination. He's bringing up. He got hit with a good left hook there.
Hamed came barreling in on Medina. Medina feeling the brunt of this attack. Combination to the head by Hamed.
And Medina's still trying to throw punches to the body. Still working the right hand and the left to the body. Unbelievable.
What a warrior is Medina. He's taking his licking, but boy, he comes back fighting. Stop. Let's go.
Based on his performance, it's hard to say if his corner's going to stop it because he came out and he fought back. And he didn't lose the round as badly as he did the one before.
Well, one before, he was getting shellacked. I mean, that could have been a 10-7 round. I mean, he's so far behind now, he needs a knockout to win.
Hamed almost landing at will. Hamed receiving some of the leather as well, showing a pretty good chin. But you just have to wonder what effect that those punches have by Medina. How much steam does he have left?
Once again, too, you got to wonder what a puncher who hits, for instance, that many consecutive right hands and left hooks, what a puncher does to him. Digging the shot to the body, hitting with straight rights like Azuma Nelson. You can't take that.
But I'll tell you this, Hamed has to show more discipline. He's really going to be in trouble soon.
Hamed looks like he's in it for the full 12 here. He's not trying to knock him out.
Mucho aire.
Jala mucho aire.
Jala mucho aire.
Cierra el ojo, tienes el ojo para que te pueda curar. Tienes que tirarlo, tienes que noquearlo para ganarle, hijo. Entonces tienes que pelear.
Well, they're certainly not excited. They're just telling him you got to walk to him and you got to fight him if you're going to win. And that certainly is not excitement to close and stop this fight. They're not even thinking about it anymore.
Hasta los opresivos han sido los golpes.
They're saying continue to put pressure on this guy and throw the punches to the body. You got to punch to win.
Ya está parado él, ¿entiende? Búsquele variaciones y no le pierda de vista las manos. No las cuelgues tanto.
He says give him variations of punches. You're hitting him with different punches. Si peleas con él, puedes
noquearlo. Ahorita no lo hiciste más que 2 veces. Necesitas hacerlo más continuo. Pelea con él. Hágase con él, hijo. Usted puede también. Okay?
He's telling him these are the rounds that the Prince should be tired and can't fight. And these are the rounds you got to take. You got to knock him out.
Into the championship rounds, round number 11. You may have caught a glimpse of the Prince waving to his girlfriend, Alicia Crilly, in the crowd.
And Medina came out and threw a 1-2-3 right to the body, just like the corner said, but he's got to come up top with that.
The 11th round. How many people thought it would go this far? Combination by Manuel Medina, and a couple of those punches got in.
Break. Don't use the elbow. Let's go.
Hamed again being cautioned for using the elbow.
If you watched him here, he's used everything. He's used the elbow, he's used his head, he uses everything. This guy is slick.
Shoulder, his forearm, if it can be thrown in forward motion, he'll whip it at you.
Anything, he looks like a linebacker going in there half the time.
I mean, Hamed's chin is getting a pretty good workout here, but apparently he's either got a rock-solid jaw or Hamed's punches or Medina's punches don't have that much zip.
Medina's not a puncher. Now he's too tired and too hurt to be any one-punch knockout artist of any kind.
Again, Hamed just barreling in, bulldozing his way in on Medina. But give credit to Medina. He's still dancing around. He's got to be in tremendous condition to go this far and get this much punishment inflicted.
The Prince doesn't look like he's trying to finish this by a knockout, let me tell you.
Oh, he almost did there, but what kept Medina up with that hard left hook by Hamed?
And Medina comes back. He is one tough cookie. He is here. That's part of the championship heart and championship experience he's had that's keeping him in this fight.
It's almost as if he refuses to be stopped. TKO. A digging right uppercut there by Hamed.
That was a good body shot by Hamed.
Hamed now stalking, swimming straight right hand. Medina momentarily dazed, bounced off the rope.
He is in bad shape here.
Hamed measuring him out now. Landing to the top of the head with the right. Medina stumbling around.
The referee really looking to step in. Referee's looking to step in.
I'll tell you what, it's close. It's close. And I'll tell you, all Prince has to do is sit on a good 2- or 3-punch combination, but he loves to jump around.
Now he's laying off. Lunges in with the left, that missed.
He walked into a good hook himself.
Doubling up with the left uppercut, Hamed.
I don't know how much more of this he needs to see.
10 seconds left in round 11. Referee Gino Rodriguez looking intently at Medina.
Well, I'll tell you what a heart this Medina has.
And Medina just hanging on.
Look at the way he walks. He can't even walk to the corner. He can't walk to the corner.
That's
it. Come on. About time.
That is it officially. Finally, this one is history. The ringside position in the red corner. Dr. Power waving it off. And it is over. Prince Naseem Hamed has defended his title. In addition, his trainer agreed. No question about it.
I think he could have done it the round before. He was taking incredible punishment. His face showed it. He could barely make it back to his corner. What are they waiting? I mean, you know, it was a terrific display of guts on the part of Medina. We don't need to see that much, guys.
So Prince Naseem Hamed makes his third defense of the WBO featherweight title. And now probably sets his sights on a unification showdown with the man sitting in with us that you saw and heard from, Tom Boom Boom Johnson. Hope to talk to Tom some more a little bit later. But Hamed may have won this fight, fellas, but I think it raises some questions, some doubt as to his future.
Well, I'm sitting next to Boom Boom Johnson, and I noticed his mouth is watering a lot. He had to take a handkerchief and do his mouth. He keeps seeing things he could hear. Let's take a look at round 9. Let's take a look at that and see the knockdowns. All right, first knockdown, round 9, and here it is. Let's take a look at it, and it is, as usual, a hammering shot by the Prince. Measures him. He likes to put that right hand right in. And there's a left hook, and there's the right hand. That's what's been dropping him all the time. Bobby, can you see? Second.
Oh, yeah, you know, it's the same thing. That right hand, he just jumped down the middle. He does it again here. The second knockdown, he's working. Here he's also working the body a little bit. He jumps in with that right hand. He jumps in when he springs forward, catches Medina flush, and down he goes.
So Prince Naseem Hamed, now 23-0. Here's the announcement.
By our referee in charge, Gino Rodriguez, at the end of round number 11, in order to protect Medina from suffering further punishment. He's the winner by way of technical knockout, still undefeated, still WBO featherweight champion of the world, Prince Naseem Hamed.
The last time Manuel Medina was stopped was in 1989 by Juan Salazar. He's stopped by this man, Prince Naseem Hamed, in round number 11. At just 22 years of age, a lot of talent outside of his flashy showbiz approach to the game. He may be on his way to winning many world titles, but Bobby says he's going to have to be a little more disciplined and careful in the ring.
I think a little bit more disciplined, certainly a lot more careful. You cannot walk into punches like that against a true puncher like an Azuma Nelson, because you just won't be able to deal with it that way. It's just a tough way to go. Medina can't punch the way he needs to, and, you know, it showed here. It was a big factor.
So Prince Naseem Hamed makes his third defense of the WBO featherweight championship here at the Point Theatre in Dublin, Ireland. And before we interview the winner of tonight's main event, we've got the fight doctor over there standing by, and get some additional comments from Tom Boom Boom Johnson. Let's get a preview of next week's WBA heavyweight championship between Bruce Seldon and Mike Tyson. Yes, the Seldon-Tyson bout was originally scheduled for July the 13th. Unfortunately, Mike Tyson was diagnosed with bronchitis, and this pay-per-view event was postponed until next Saturday, September the 7th. The delay seemed... Let's get back to the business at hand, and we slide over to our right now and chat once again with IBF featherweight champion Tom Boom Boom Johnson, who retained his title for the 11th time earlier tonight by defeating Ramon Guzman. And first of all, as Ferdy pointed out, were you salivating just now at the last fight?
Well, actually, I think, you know, it was a good, entertaining fight. I see a lot of flaws in the Prince. I see a lot of things that he does wrong. And, you know, the problem I saw with Medina is he wasn't making the necessary adjustments to adapt to that type of style. Here's a guy that's kept deep in. All you have to do is just lay back. You can counter-punch this guy. I mean, although he's throwing punches from awkward angles, you know, you can set him up, make him, give him feints. You know, Medina wasn't fainting, he wasn't running in the shots. And I don't think he could take them right hands, you know, from myself that he was taking from Medina. I'm a much better puncher than Medina. And I'm not going to just hit him with one hand. I'm hitting with right hand, left hook, right hand, you know, put them punches together. So I think it would be a very entertaining fight.
How is your hand? It was injured midway through the fight or thereabouts against Ramon Guzman. You became a one-handed fighter, only your left hand. How's the right hand right now?
Well, I think it's all right. It's not broken, anything like that. You know, it's not broken, anything like that. You know, it's a little swollen, a little damage and everything. You know, I hit him on top of the head in the second round, and I kept repeatedly trying to, you know, use the right hand, and we kept catching him on the skull and everything. So, you know, it got to the point where it was beginning to be a little discouraged, a little distraction. But
all right, now, Prince Naseem Hamed suggests a winner-take-all scenario if he should fight you in a showdown, say in December. What do you think about that?
Well, I have no problem with Naseem putting up his money for winner take all, you know, but this is a business, you know. I mean, let's not get crazy with the concept. I don't box for free, you know, regardless of what, you know. If he feels that very confident, you know, he can do what he want to do. But myself, I'm gonna take the money, I'm gonna take the Prince, I'm gonna do what I got to do to prove to the world that I'm the best featherweight that ever did this. You know, that's my ultimate goal.
Are you personally turned off by the Prince's arrogance?
Well, personally, I don't pay attention to his arrogance. I think that his youthfulness is going to catch up with him. I think he's just a kid right now who's destined to become a man, and I'm the guy that's going to teach him and raise him how to become a man.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Congratulations on your win tonight. On a night of nicknames, we go from Boom Boom to the Fight Doctor with the Prince. Ferdy?
All right, a longer fight than we anticipated. That guy was tough.
Very tough. He's a very good fighter. Fully respect to him, but at the end of the day, I came through, I stopped him. Another RSC on the record, and I just come strong, you know. I come strong and beat them all.
He landed an awful lot of right hands, and you look like you weathered them, but did any of them affect you? Did they bother you?
You never see me go down. You never see me going down. At the end of the day, I took his best shots. I stayed on my feet, and I kept giving him the right shots, you know, and I put him down, you know?
All right, here's the first knockdown. You tell me what you were doing.
I'm waiting for him basically because he's well open, but at the end of the day, I've got to time the shot. I'm looking for the right hand. There it is. Boom. Took him with the right hand. It hit him fully on his chin, and he went down and he felt the power. And that was numerous times.
I think every time you hit him with the right hand, you shook him badly. Here's the second one. Same punch.
As I say, coming up to it now, I'm just looking for my opening. And
that's the right hand he was in.
Bring the uppercut up. Stepping back, looking for the right hand. Boom. It's there. End of the day, very good fighter, fully credit to him. I'll box him anytime again, but I had a bad call before the fight, but no excuses. He was a great fighter, and I come through it well. A W is a W, right. And I stopped him.
Exactly right. The strength with which you punch seemed like it would have knocked out this guy because you hit him solid right hands, not one or two, but many. Yeah. This guy is a very tough man.
You see, it comes up to fights, and I train very hard, but end of the day, if I've got a call before the fight, I've got a cold, and this particular night, I had a cold 3 days before the fight, and I come through it well.
I want to ask a fashion note here. You're always dapper and dressed beautifully. Both guys showed up as lampshades.
He's got my underwear on.
This is Frank Warren, the promoter of these fights, and the guy that's putting together a future big one. Frank, what little news have you for us?
Well, I've been talking to my partner, Don King, concerning the fight with Tom Johnson, and hopefully we're going to get on. We've also got an option of Wayne McCulloch, who said he's accepted the offer to fight Naz.
They'll all get knocked out.
And
watch.
Whatever happens,
Off
certainly...
night, because it was in the cold. Sorry about that.
Next fight, guaranteed the next fight, it'll be a unification match. And what he says about a cold, we're not giving excuses. We told everybody beforehand, he generally see a doctor here, he had an infection. But what you can't take away from him is his punching power, and he's got plenty of grit.
I'll tell you one thing. I've never seen his original fighter. I thought you were a rocket in there for a while. You come from all angles, and it's really bewildering to fight you.
All angles. End of the day, a W is a W. I'm still world champion. Comes to box anybody in this arena. Wayne McCulloch, Azuma Nelson, any of them. Barrera, they'll get beat. Watch.
Well, you are an entertaining fighter, and I don't know when I've seen anybody that entertaining. And now back to Steve Albert and Bobby Ches at ringside.
Thank you, Ferdy. Yes, he is entertaining, but you wonder how Hamed would have done tonight if he was in there with a power puncher. With that, let's take one final look at tonight's triple header results from the Point Theatre in Dublin, Ireland. In our first bout, it was Nate Mr. Miller defending his WBA Cruiserweight.
Judges, no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee.